I am definitely going to do a podcast about procrastination. I don't know when, but I will.
It's the Daylight Midnight Show.
Hello and welcome, and I have to say I think this might be the latest in the day I've ever recorded one of these shows, certainly in this series. If you can't tell, it's already dark. I think by the time I've finished filming this, it'll have to be uploaded almost immediately for me to put it online before midnight. The reason is that I had to go off and do some work this afternoon, so I would have recorded the show this morning, but my neighbours are having some work done, and today was the day that everything was delivered. So we had trucks pulling up outside, scaffolding being put up, angle grinders being used, heavy drills, and the noise was incredible. So I just thought, I'm just going to leave it until I get back, and so here I am now. The other thing is, I'm determined that this show is going to be shorter than last week. It was a terrible overspill. Really, if we follow the rules correctly, this show should only be about 2 minutes long, because I overran by so much that I should take that off, and this be a really, really short show. So I'm determined to prove to myself that I can do it and not go on for too long. And with that in mind, I will show you our slogan of the week to go on the door of delights, which is 6 is better than 16. We are talking about timings here. Last week it was ridiculously long, and it even though I said in a previous episode I wasn't going to worry too much, I wasn't going to put too much pressure on myself with the timing, I think I did overdo it slightly last week. So really, we went over by 6 minutes. We should take 6 minutes off, but I'm just going to do my best to keep it to a tight 8 or even a 10. So 6 is better than 16. I'm aiming for 6 rather than 16. So let's move straight on for our fascinating fun fact for a Friday. This is something I didn't know a week ago, and I've discovered it just in research for other things, and I thought I would share it with you. When Arsenal Football Club was first formed in 1886, they were called Dial Square Football Club. Thank you very much. So let's move on to my week in 10 words, where I let you know what I've been up to since the last show, using only 10 words. I'm not going to do the theme song. I've written those lyrics now that I might change every week, but I want to come up with a different tune. I don't want to use the same tune as last week. So we'll forego that for now, and I'll just get straight into the 10 words for my week. Bad films, Beatles Jigsaw, Ballatro, London, lunches, busy open mic. Yeah, I've made some bad choices in the past couple of weeks with choosing films I've never seen before that really, really aren't very good. Beatles Jigsaw is self-explanatory. Ballatro, if you know the game, you know the game. I lost quite a bit of time to that. London, let me tell you about London. I met up with a friend of mine that I used to work with, and every few months we'll get together, pick a location and have the day together. And we met up in London this week, and I love olives. I'm sure I must have mentioned this. They will certainly be on my list of my favourite tastes of all time. Olives, black, green, pitted, almond-filled, all sorts of different olives. But I do have a particular favourite, and they are produced by an Italian company, and they have a shop in London. So while we were there, I said I'd like to go in and buy some of the tins. They just do sort of regular baked bean tin size, full of olives, beautiful. They're chili infused in this special olive oil that they make themselves. They're absolutely beautiful. And I thought I'll buy myself a tin or 3 of those. But while I was in there, I noticed that they do these industrial size ones for catering professional kitchens, and they were on offer. So this is the size of olives. This is the tin of olives that I bought myself this week, just for me, by the way, just for me. That, when it's drained, that's about 600 grams of olives. So I think I need to do something with the tin now. Like use it, I want to keep it, I want to use it as, I don't know, maybe I'll collect pound coins in it, or maybe I'd leave pens in it. It would hold a lot of pens. But I think really I should just have it in the room as a reminder of my gluttony and overindulgence that I have at times, and the terrible and stupid decisions that I sometimes make. So that was that. Lots of lunches, which has been nice. Busy open mic the other night, which was wonderful, the one that I was hosting. So let's get on to the purple card, and this one we will do the theme song for. Purple card, which is now green. I'm not a rude presenter, so my words are not obscene. Let's see what I've written on the card that's green. So the green card is just something I carry around with me, and I write down little things on it, and then I go through them with you on a Friday. Point number 1 this week. If the green card is full of stuff, don't do a feature of some kind. Again, this is about timing and overrunning. Last week there was lots of stuff on the green card I wanted to talk about, but I also did the whole thing about the history of mugs. Those 2 things are too much, so this week, just the green card, and then we'll move on. Point number 2, sort out laptop screen in glasses. Oh yeah, last week I tried to get a different angle so that I could look at the computer screen and the camera as well, and I noticed there was the reflection in my glasses, so I've sort of repositioned things this week to try and cut that off. I like to live and learn and make little professional adjustments as the weeks go by. Number 3, accidental brilliance, rolling eggs. Oh right, yes, okay. I have a particular way of doing fried eggs. And this dates back to when I used to do some cooking in a care home for a group of people, and I had a particular way of doing the eggs I always got praised for, because they weren't crispy, they weren't hard, they were very nicely cooked, and it involves a lot of oil in a pan, and you let the eggs sit in it for quite a long time, so you have a low heat and you gradually bring it up to the right temperature. The last thing that you do is flip the eggs over in that kind of American over easy style to get the top a little bit hardened as well. But me trying to do that and not paying attention this week, I managed to roll a fried egg up almost like you were rolling a cigarette. And there was no way I could get it open again, so I just went, I'll just have to go with it. And for some reason, it made it one of the best fried eggs I've ever done in my life. So I tried it again a couple of days later, thinking this cannot make sense, that doing something that small to something can make it taste that much better. And somehow it does. I don't know what it is. Something to do with the surface temperature, the surface amount that's exposed to the oil. I don't know, but actually rolling the eggs up, letting them get almost hardened, and then rolling them up and leaving them for a few more seconds just created a thing of beauty. So there we go, accidental brilliance. Why does writing something down affect my ability to remember it? I think this follows on from something I said last week, but I've noticed, like that accidental brilliance thing about the eggs was a few days ago, and it'd gone out of my head completely. And it's something I've noticed, that if the act of writing something down just seems to take it out of my memory as a memory, and I just remember it as something that's written down, if that makes sense. I've noticed that with diaries, when I've been away for a few days and I come back and I can remember everything that happened on that trip away, and then I'll decide to write it down in a journal so that I remember it in the future. But as soon as I've done that, then I'm not remembering it as an event anymore, I'm remembering it as something I've written down. And I wonder whether there's something in that actually, the more you don't write stuff down, log it, the better you remember it as a memory. It even works with lyrics and things like that. When I was driving to London the other day, I was coming up with a poem in my head, and I got 8, 10, maybe 12 lines in, got to the hotel, and I could remember the whole thing, but once I'd written it down, I then wanted to film that poem, and then I realised I couldn't remember it. Whereas when I got out of the car, I could remember every word. I don't know, maybe it's just the way my brain works and it's getting rid of information it doesn't need anymore, but that's just something I thought I'd just mention, and I might do some more research into that at some point. And finally, point number 5 this week, I am now Herbie's age. If you've ever watched any of the Herbie films, starting with The Love Bug, it's about a Volkswagen Beetle that becomes sentient. Quite sort of forward-thinking in its way. You know, we now have cars that can drive themselves. This is 20 years before Knight Rider. There was this Volkswagen Beetle that could drive itself, and lots of hilarity ensued. It was 1960s. A lot of the writers were probably taking drugs. I'm not saying anything. But anyway, Herbie had a certain number on the side of the car that seemed like such a big number at the time, but I've just realised I am now Herbie's age. There you go, that's the green card for this week. So, we move on to interactive Gregonory. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, because again, you can go back a couple of weeks and listen to the whole story, but we are approaching the denouement. We've only got a few chapters left, and thank you to Jane for submitting chapter 8 this week. So the story is, we have 3 fruit that all started in separate locations, and in a storm got blown to this particular place. And it took a strange turn where they were running out of food and were thinking about eating each other. So Jane has provided chapter 8. Thank you, Jane. The closely knit friendship started to fall apart. No one trusted anyone, and any time Gordon reached for the salt, the other 2 would panic, thinking they might be on the menu. Thankfully, because of humans not caring about their own planet, another monumental storm kicked up, and the 3 of them were once again thrown to different locations. So over to you for chapter 9, and we only want 2 more chapters before the story is complete. And I might read you the whole lot next week as an idea, just to get you the full story as we head towards the end. So let's find out what I'm going to be wearing on next week's show by doing our choices by chance. So we start with the rotating randomness of the coloured cube. The first colour is yellow, so next week I'll be wearing my hippie shirt. Over the top of that, I'll be wearing whatever is in column yellow again. Which is what I call my Hudge Fuskins jacket, which is a very old farmer's jacket that I've got. And to accessorise all that, if anything, whatever is in column blue, which will be a baseball cap. So it's the hippie shirt, my old brown jacket, and a baseball cap over the top of that. Will my hair be up or down? Let's decide with the crime of coin toss. That, I think you can see, is tails, tail is for ponytail, so my hair will be up in a ponytail. There you go. I think that's a little bit under 16 minutes and a bit of time left before midnight so I can actually get this up on time. Thank you for your time. I'll see you next week. Have a great 7 days.